Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody. We appreciate the time to meet with us today. We are going to talk about the collaboration between Durham Tech and Warpwire and why Durham Tech selected Warpwire as their video platform within their LMS. So I'm going to start with a round of introductions. I'm going to turn it over to the Durham Tech team.
Okay. I'm Karen McPhaul. I'm Senior Director of Instructional Technologies at Durham Tech.
Hello. Sorry, Marissa.
Okay. I'm Marissa, and I am the coordinator of distance learning, and I also teach psychology at Durham Tech.
I'm Amy Netzel, and I'm the coordinator of instructional design and media, and I work under Karen in instructional technologies.
Great. I'm going to turn it over to the Warpwire team.
Hello, everyone. I am Monty Evans. I'm the Senior Vice President at Warpwire. I've had the privilege and joy working with the Durham Tech folks for quite some time, and I'm excited that you all can come and hear more about our collaboration together.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Benton, and I'm a sales engineer with Cadmium. I've been with the company for almost 8 years, and I'm really looking forward to giving you guys a demo of Warpwire today.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Minarovic. I'm National Sales Director for Cadmium. I've been here a little over a year, and I'm very excited about today's webinar. So now we're going to talk about what the experience is and the collaboration between Durham Tech and Warpwire. So Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Sure. So before Warpwire does their demo, which I'm excited to see myself, but we just wanted to share a little bit about our experience at Durham Tech. So it was we've been on Warpwire for had it implemented here for about 2.5 years. It was back in 2018 when we started looking for a video platform. We did not have one, and we were training our instructors how to use various tools to create videos and upload them to YouTube, which was kind of a complicated process. There were some privacy concerns because you couldn't really make the video easily private to your own class. And when students watch YouTube videos, they get all kinds of prompts for ads and other things, and you lose them. So we wanted our own platform, and we looked at 3 products. We looked at MediaSite, Panopto, and Warpwire. And sort of our top 3 criteria were we wanted a good integration with our LMS. And our LMS is Sakai, and we knew that Duke and UNC were using Warpwire and had it integrated with their system. Accessibility is a big concern of ours, as it is for most colleges. And one of our top criteria was we wanted something that was simple and easy to use. With those, we had other criteria as on our long list as well, but those are just sort of the top ones. And after looking at these 3 products quite deeply, we chose Warpwire because it met those top 3 very well. It has a seamless integration with our LMS, works really well. Instructors don't realize they're using really a third-party tool. They just think it's part of our LMS, which gives them a comfort with it, I think. Also, when it comes to accessibility, Warpwire, we thought, showed a special understanding of the importance of it and a commitment to continuous improvement in that area. And we were really impressed with that. But it was probably the simplicity more than anything else that we liked the most. It did not have a lot of extra bells and whistles that we did not need, which some of the other tools had, and we thought that complicated life and made things confusing. And we really liked the streamlined and very intuitive interface. It's similar to other web-based tools, so people kind of instinctively know what to do. We found that to be true when we began implementing it. So we worked a lot on the implementation during 2019, but the full rollout happened in January of 2020. And we started doing some on-campus trainings. And then, of course, March, the pandemic hit. And on-campus training's not possible anymore, and our entire faculty trying to put everything online. And what we found during that time is that our faculty could jump in and start using Warpwire with little to no training, very little assistance from us. They could really just take a handout and run with it because it was so intuitive. So we were very glad to have Warpwire in our toolkit when the pandemic hit. It was a stroke of luck, and it was widely used and continues to be by our instructors. So I'll turn it over to Amy, who's going to talk a little bit about. Amy, I'll let you tell them what you're.
All right, I'd like to just speak a bit about what it's been like since we partnered with Warpwire and really speak to our experience working with the Warpwire team. And I would say, sort of in a nutshell, we've really appreciated the Warpwire team's approachability and willingness to just work with us. To share a few examples with you all, as we were familiarizing ourselves with the Warpwire platform and getting ready to launch it with our faculty in 2019, Warpwire communicated that they were very open to learning more about the accessibility of their product. At the time, I had reviewed their VPAT, and they actually invited us to their location to talk more about how we reviewed the platform for accessibility compliance. And I told them about what we've sort of coined as the big six, that tab testing for focus accessibility, keyboard accessibility checks, color contrast checking, zoom magnification checks, running the wave tool to identify and review accessibility and WCAG errors, and then talking through some of the things that had been flagged in the VPAT that really just needed verification. During that visit, we talked through some of Warpwire's accessibility barriers, and the team there made it clear that they wanted to work on the things we talked about. There is very much what we kind of coined as the growth mindset in the area of accessibility. Another example of Warpwire's approachability happened some months later. They were very receptive to a concern that our team had related to our LMS integration, in which our faculty were unable to copy videos from one semester to the next. The team at Warpwire took our feedback and worked to create a solution for that issue. And then to share just a final example, we're going to fast forward to the timeline during the pandemic. At that time, Warpwire added a captioning feature, which was really a welcome addition. We may talk a little bit more about that later, but it turns out that their captioning interface is very easy to use. I would say it's comparable to VidGrid's captioning interface in that it's much less complicated to use than, say, the YouTube's captioning interface. Warpwire's AI captioning option does a very good job creating a draft of the captions. The AI can often pick up on when to capitalize and punctuate during the transcription process, which was a great surprise, and I was really happy to see that. And I kind of say this with a caveat that although the draft is often fantastic, it almost always requires a human review, as does any AI captioning feature. So I would say we very much enjoyed our experience working with the Warpwire team. They're responsive and have made us feel as though they listen to our concerns and that issues can be resolved. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marissa to talk a bit about the faculty experience with Warpwire.
All right, so I'm going to speak to Warpwire kind of in general and some big things that faculty really like about this tool. So we've, I feel faculty have an overall positive experience with Warpwire. One of the big components is that it's so user-friendly. As Karen mentioned, we had one opportunity for training early on, and I was one of those lucky few, but I was also chairing the social science department. So I had a lot of faculty members who needed to learn how to do it on their own very quickly. So because it's so user-friendly for faculty wanting to make a screencast video, uploading a narrated PowerPoint, a selfie video, they were really easily able to do this with just that one little handout. They're also able to edit their videos really easily, all contained in the LMS. And again, as Karen said, we feel like it's part of the LMS. I don't have to go out to other websites. Everything's integrated really well. So it was really great to have during the pandemic. Everything's in the course site, and the videos copy from semester to semester. We don't have to set up some kind of privacy setting like you do with YouTube. Another big component that instructors really like are the analytics. So we can see who has watched the video and who has not watched the video. Some of us instructors will use that as an attendance marker to a certain degree. We can also see if a student didn't watch one of our videos, we can direct them back to that resource. Or, if a student has a question, I can make a real quick navigation video about how to go to something in our LMS with that screencast feature. So it's really helpful for instructors too. And part of those analytics too, we can decide what's an engaging video or what's engaging content, and maybe what needs a little bit more work with the analytic information. As far as the students, they've also had a really positive experience with Warpwire. It's easy for them to view and use, and very rarely do we run into any tech issues. The students really prefer instructor created content in general. And this is easily achieved with Warpwire. And they have this kind of pool of good resources that the instructor can easily create. And they like to see and hear us. It really helps to decrease those feelings of isolation in those online classes. So that is all I have. So I will hand it back to the Warpwire presenters and enjoy.
Thank you. We appreciate all of the information you just provided. I'm going to turn it over to Brooke to give all of you a little demo on what Warpwire is and its features and functionality.
Yeah, so hopefully this will tie everything together. So just a couple highlights of the product that were already very well described. We've got per user detailed analytics that we actually tie into our gradebook integration. It's a really easy to use interface. It's web-based, so there's no additional items to download. And students as well as instructors can actually contribute recordings very, very easily to the platform. Everything is automatically captioned via AI, but we can also, as was just said, accept, SRT files or VTT or anything like that. We can also do requests for human captioning, so we can sort of solve really any problem that you've got. And then, as was said, it solves the same problem as other providers, and I think it's just a little bit easier to use. But with that being said, I'm going to bounce into the actual live demo. And so I'm going to go into my browser. It's really not noticeable. Oh, and I'll repeat this for the recording. We're here in our test instance of Moodle. And as I said before, this is a browser-based product. It's a plugin, so it plugs right into your Moodle instance. We'll see what it looks like in just a second. But the permissions are all baked in as well. So if you are a student that belongs to a course, you automatically will get access to any of the content, the videos that are being made available for that course. There are no additional accounts to be created. There are no additional, permissions to set up, although you do as an instructor have the ability to set extra permissions if you wanted. And we'll look at that in a second. But so in a nutshell, what is Warpwire? It's a media library and a media management tool that we've built in and integrated with the Moodle LMS. So each instructor will be able to have their own media library that they can contribute content to, either by uploading files, or they could do a camera or a screen capture, which will bounce them into a web-based interface where it will connect with their webcam. They can start recording. They can also add additional video sources, like additional windows or files that they want to focus in on. And they could, let's say, record an intro video for their class right at the drop of a hat. As soon as they hit stop, it's going to automatically save and post to their media library, where they can take further action on any videos they've either added or created in the interface. They can go through and change some settings, like create a clip. Maybe they had an awkward intro and they want to kind of shave that off. Maybe they found a mistake in the video. They can completely replace that media, and it will replace it in all instances that it finds it within the course. Same thing if they just want to quickly remove it from Moodle itself. They can control the thumbnail preview, the title, the description. They can add various tags to help organize their libraries. And we said that captions are automatically added via AI, but they can also add caption files if needed. And of course, download the raw MP4 file. They also would have the ability to, like I said, change additional share permissions. So all students that are attached to the course are automatically going to be able to have access to the videos that are shared with the course. But let's say the instructor finds a mistake and they don't have time to replace it. They don't want to delete it. They can instead come in and mark that sharing setting as private. So that will immediately take it, the availability for users to watch it, except for the instructor. And then they can come back and replace it as soon as they have time. Or they might have a reason to only share with a particular group of students. And so they can individually select who has access to that video. They also have analytics. So these are very detailed analytics that are going to show up for every single video or a media file that you add in. And so you're going to be able to see total number of views, how many minutes, an average engagement. You have a graph that's going to take you to various places in your video, and it will show you, for the first, it looks like maybe first 1 second or so of this video, I had 100% of my users watching, and then it started to drop off. And I had a major drop off right at this timestamp. So it helps instructors create more efficient and more effective videos, because they can kind of see, maybe try to analyze, why are students skipping through this part of the video? Why don't they find that useful? They also can see very detailed engagement analytics per student. So they can see exactly how much was watched and in how many sessions, if the student skipped around. And again, this is all built into our gradebook integration that we're going to look at in just a second. So I'm going to go into the course, and I'm going to start adding some Warpwire content to my course. I've set up some announcements. So maybe I want to go through and make a change there. I have this video I've already embedded in my announcement. Let's say maybe I have a new video that I want them to watch, or maybe I want to record a video that I want my students to watch in this announcement. So I can insert my text. We now have this Warpwire plugin button inside of the rich text editor, and that will appear anywhere in Moodle that has the rich text editor. And when you click on it, it's going to bring you to a thumbnail version of that library that we just took a look at. And so from here, you can access any of the existing videos that you've got, or as I said, you can completely upload a new file right from this step, or create your video right here. So you really don't need a ton of prep if you are just doing a simple video capture, camera capture. Welcome students, my name is so-and-so, this is the course. You can do that all in a couple clicks. And then once you have the videos selected, you have a few options for settings. You can add things like an interactive transcript if there are captions, and that will give the users the ability to read along the captions as the video plays. You could hide controls, make it audio only. You've got a few options here with your embed settings. And then finally, it's just as simple as clicking insert, and that will embed the video right into the announcement. You can hit save and display to see what it will look like. And you can see from the user's standpoint, they just click play. It starts playing that video. They can skip around or scrub through it. They can look at the captions. They can change the playback rate. And, it's capturing all of their engagement on the analytics side of things. So the secondary option of just besides embedding videos into pages or announcements is creating graded activities. So you can add an activity to a topic within your course. And when you add it, you can select this Warpwire graded activity item that will be, see. Oh, perfect. There we go. So you would give the assignment a name, maybe boiling pasta part 3. And then when you hit select content, it's going to take you into your media library. So from here, you can select the video that you want your students to watch. You'll notice if you go into the settings that graded activity setting is automatically selected, but you can still select any of the others, if you want like that interactive transcript, for example. And then once you insert it, you'll have to set up one additional setting where you input the total grade, whether it's by point or by percentage, and then you can select a grade to pass. And this ties directly in with the engagement analytics. So the Warpwire platform will automatically recognize if the viewer watched 80% of the video, and if they skipped around, let's say they come and watch the video in multiple sessions, it's going to fill in the brand new pieces that they haven't watched before. So it won't give them credit for parts of the video that they've already watched. And then once they have, you've you've launched that assignment to your students, you can go into your grade book and you're going to see all of those grades that are coming through for each student automatically based on their percentage watched. And so you can set grade to pass versus grade to fail, and it just all is managed all within the platform. The last thing I want to show you is the interactive transcript, kind of what that looks like. And so again, this allows your viewers to search within this transcript. So they could look up keywords, they can click on a line and it will jump to that place in the video. They also can do so in any of the captioning options here. So it makes it really easy for a student to go through the transcript, find what they need, especially if they're studying for something. Personally, I wish I had this when I was going through university. And the instructors also have this interface where they can actually go through and make changes to the AI generated captions. So it looks like this, except they could actually click in and edit those captions. So all really easy to use, really simple interface. You know, just trying to get content in a secure manner out to your course learners as easily as possible. So with that, I'm going to bounce back into our PowerPoint. And I think I just have a recap to go through. And then I'm going to hand it over to Monty, who's going to take us through some next steps for Warpwire. But as a recap, you know, we're looking at these detailed analytics, a very easy to use interface. Everything is captioned automatically. Like I said, I didn't show this, but you can basically turn on permissions for all of your students or various students so that they can actually record videos in the interface and contribute them to the library themselves. So you could kind of turn it around on them. And it's really solving the same, you know, problems in terms of creating a secure multimedia management platform that you can easily distribute through the LMS as other providers. So with that, like I said, I'm going to pass over to Monty to talk through what's next.
So thanks, Brooke. That was fantastic. So one of the things to start off with is that everything that Brooke demoed and displayed came from feedback from our users directly. So as Karen and Amy and Marissa had alluded to with our partnership with Durham Tech, a lot of the work that we do at Warpwire is based around making sure we solve the right problems. And with that, our goal is to basically make the tool disappear so that, you know, instructors can focus on education and learning, and the learners can focus on consuming and growing. So we want to try to make the technology sort of fade away in the background and be so intuitive to users that it's just a really simple way of them entering and adding content. And so with that, the features that are coming next are also based on feedback we've gotten from our users. So one of the things that we're working on is to provide enhanced playback controls. These controls will allow for things such as if an instructor wants to ensure that users can't sort of go ahead and jump around in a video too soon, we'll have the ability to make it so that users can will have to watch the video in time, but if they want to go back and rewatch something, we'll let them, but they won't be able to jump ahead. So it kind of gives additional flexibility for users to sort of control how their students are consuming content. We're adding new batch downloading features to Warpwire. So, you know, oftentimes you may have an entire media library of content that you want to share, maybe at a conference or a location that doesn't have really good internet. We've made it really easy so that you can download all those videos at the same time, and they basically get saved as in individual videos. And with those videos, we embed the closed captions so that as long as you have a capable player, you'll be able to see the closed captions associated with your video. So they're all kind of bundled in together for offline playback. We're working to have more integrations with our interactive quizzing products so that we are working with the integration for H5P so that you can use it as an interactive quizzing tool and have Warpwire be a native flow along with collecting the Warpwire analytics, the security system that Brooke talked about, and sort of integration directly within your LMS platform. The other thing that we're really excited about is we've been working over the last year to improve sort of, with the pandemic, our integration for our one-to-many live broadcasts. So we've been working with the latest technology to basically provide sort of very simple tools so that you can do real-time broadcasts to your entire class or course. We wanted to improve the tools that we had so that it just makes it really easy where if you need to just have a really simple way to broadcast your class, and you want to do it through the LMS, we're trying to make that process as easy as possible. The other things, a long list of things from our users, but these are the things that universities and education institutions have issues with, is improving our content retention policy and workflows so that you can say, for certain institutions, they need content to remain for 3 years for legal reasons. Basically having an entire workflow that kind of manages that automatically and also does things like safe space so that you can keep more content and not really have to worry about costs going out of control. And then once again, we're sort of working towards improving our accessibility. So for all the content that is automatically captioned, we are making it very easy for you to just use the search box to find that video. So instead of having to remember what the name of the video was, you can literally remember what the video says to find that content, as well as adding additional automated captions in more source languages. So if you have, for instance, a course that's in Spanish and you want to have Spanish captioned, we'll be able to provide support so that you'll, with AI, have automatic Spanish captioning along with just English captioning. And then finally, any sort of new features that you, our users, create, we really do kind of evolve the product based on the feedback that we get in collaboration with organizations. So for instance, Durham Tech has created many of the features that you've seen here, and we've really improved and been very appreciative of our partnership with them. And I turn it back over to Cynthia.
Great. I think we're going to go into any questions. We'll field any questions from the audience. Emily, do we have any questions in the chat by chance?
Not currently seeing any questions in the chat, but all users do have the ability to use their microphone if they wish. I actually do have a question, and I apologize if I missed this. So I noticed, as you mentioned, it has the integration with your grade center component. So as a student watches a video, you can kind of grade based on how much they watched. Then also, you mentioned students have the capabilities as well to kind of, I guess, create and upload videos. From that standpoint, is there an integration for if a student was to, let's say if you're trying to get students to do a presentation, where you could actually grade their videos based off a rubric and provide feedback to them? Or is the grade center piece the only aspect of whether they watch the video or not?
That's a great question. We actually have several universities who, and one thing to note is that Warpwire is designed to work with multiple LMSs. So for instance, the demo that Brooke gave was in Moodle, but we have customers that are using Sakai or Canvas, or just various other different LMSs. So with that, we try to be as flexible as possible. Regarding the grading rubrics, it is possible in certain LMSs to use Warpwire as an asset type, so that you can have the students create an asset type that is a Warpwire module that they would just upload and post within that assignment. And then from there, the instructor could watch the module, give feedback, and give a grade based on it. So it has been used in different ways by different institutions to sort of allow for that interactive grading.
Great, thank you.
I see there's another question that has been posted. If I were to upload an existing video, is it captioned? The answer is yes. So all videos that are uploaded into Warpwire will be captioned.
Yeah, it's just to elaborate on that just a bit more, kind of as Amy was saying, we really do listen and want to make sure that accessibility is just sort of part of the fabric. So for any videos that are available or are uploaded that have audio, we want to make sure that they're captioned so that we can sort of increase the accessibility to all.
This is Emily again. So I actually have another question. So one thing that we found, and I'm sure other faculty and distance learning representatives on this call have seen, that faculty also want an opportunity for students to be able to share videos and collaborate with other students and, sort of engage back and forth and see the videos and comment and kind of go back and forth. Are those opportunities there as well within the platform?
So the way that we work with that is that we actually work with, we leverage the capabilities of other systems that sort of have discussion capabilities. So for instance, we work with the H5P's collaboration features. We work with the PlayPosit collaboration features, and also universities such as University of Dayton extended Warpwire to build their own collaboration features with our product. The way that we sort of approach this is that we want to make sure that we design very good tools for teaching and also make the product as flexible as possible so that you can extend it in any way that may not be initially here. We want to make it so that the community can kind of provide additional collaboration and feedback to improve the quality of the experience.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Brooke, can you address when we talk about the Zoom integration, is there the ability to have multiple Zoom accounts attached to Warpwire, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I guess that is something I didn't go through in the demo, but that is a feature that comes with instructors' permissions within Warpwire, is they can actually connect their Zoom account to one of their media libraries. And so if they have, say, like a weekly class that they're automatically recording via Zoom, that integration will publish it to their media library. So they could actually make that video available for students maybe who missed the live, session pretty much like an hour after it's done, after it gets processed. And Cynthia's question, or the question that came in that Cynthia just posed, was, can there be multiple Zoom accounts within that integration? The answer is, I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio of Zoom accounts per instructor. But as an admin, you can certainly have multiple.
Thank you, Brooke. Another question that came in, I do a lot of screen capture videos. Is there a limit on the screen resolution? I've worked with some that cannot handle above 1920 by 1080. Monty, can you address that, please?
Sure. So we also hear the same thing about the screen capture. So we don't actually have there isn't a limit that our screen capture tool would impose. It's just the limit on what type of quality the institution wants to show to the students. Or to the viewer. So we can work with you to change that limit so that your default videos are 1080p or 4K, so that basically whatever resolution you have sort of is well received. But one of the things that we do differently with our capture tool is that A, it's all browser based, but B, when you are doing a screen capture, let's say you have a PowerPoint and your video, we're capturing those independently. So we can capture both sources at the highest fidelity possible. And so then when the viewer is watching back your capture, they can choose whether they want to focus in on your PowerPoint or your handout slides or on your video, and they'll be able to see it in the highest resolution because we're capturing them as independent sources. So when you're doing a screen capture, it means that you won't have to have so much into one source. You can actually split them up into independent sources that for all sources we capture in highest fidelity.
Thank you, Monty. Are there any other questions? Brooke, when we talk about the captions or the transcripts, you might have addressed this, that it does accept SRT and VTT files?
Correct, yes. We can take caption files. We can also take requests for human captioning, just with a little notice.
Great. Are there any further questions from the group?
I'm not seeing any more in the chat at this time, but if anyone has posted something in the chat that we have missed, please let us know.
All right.
Well, thank you. Yep, go ahead, Brooke.
I was just going to say, if there are no other questions, thanks everybody for joining us today. Like we said, if you think of any other questions that come up, please let us know. We can get back to you. or the Durham Tech team.